decided to put another gate on the other side of the house, down at the back edge of the house, just to sort of keep the backyard secure. Even though I do have a gate up on that side of the house up at the front, it needs to get opened when the electricity meter gets read. And I've come home and sometimes found that gate not shut properly, so we want to put one down the back as well. And we've opted for just a prefab gate from Bunnings. Their website didn't say what stores had what. So I did stop at the one coming down the mountains. Unfortunately, that one's in a very small store and don't carry any of that stuff. So they said, yeah, the nearest one's going to be down in Penrith. One bonus is down here, I can drive the truck straight into the building, into the trade area, and collect all the stuff and load it up in there, which, even though the weather's nice, it's better than having to come back out into the car park. So that's all done. Something different than what I intended to get when I came down. Ended up buying a hardwood gate because it was only $20 more than a treated pine gate. And I was just looking at the treated pine gate. It was nowhere near the style of what we've got around the house. And I was just thinking, I would eventually want to change that. So they had a prefab hardwood gate that kind of matches the ones that I've already put in the place. So got some of the good quality gate hinges like I've used up the front. It's time to go.
He's like, I'm worn out. I don't know where it is.
He's almost walking over it. There it is.
Oh, he got it. He got it.
Don't bounce off him again.
Yeah.
Here comes Sam. So with the addition of our new family member, this dog door is just a little bit too small. He can go through it, but it's narrow and he's really got to duck to get under it. So I bought another door, same brand, that'll come up to about here and out to about here. So I'm going to start disassembling this one, mark it all out, and I've got to put those extra bits of timber because of this panel being inset. So I'm going to work from the inside, although I've got to take these out, work from the inside, take off the inside section so I can mark it all out, measure out the pieces I need for these and get those cut and ready to go, because I want to get this all done today. I used a lot of silicone to make sure that this was weather tight. I can use these to remark these ones, and it's these things that I've got to remake, especially the way I made them sort of fit around the moulding. Making the job difficult. Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to have a hard time getting work done, aren't I? Brilliant. New door in, all installed, all sealed. Inside and outside with those new bits of timber. I do need to do a paint touch up though. I just got to get the new fella used to using the bigger door. Hazard reduction burns are still going. The weather's obviously been really good for it because it's been mild, no rain, no wind. Up at our place it was clear enough, but as we came down the hill, what looked like fog is actually smoke. It's a little bit thinner around the highway because of the vehicles constantly going through it and just dispersing the smoke, but when you look off to the side, visibility's dropping the further we go down. And I'm not really sure if it's going to be like this down in the valley of Western Sydney, because that is kind of a depression just at the base of the mountains. All I know is that it's thick and it's coming through into the car. In terms of mask wearing, the mask is actually going to be protecting me from the smoke. I've actually been relaxing the mask a bit. There hasn't been any active cases apart from people in quarantine who've come from overseas in our state. If I'm generally out and about, I'm not wearing my mask now. I think my anxiety of it has lifted a little bit. At work, out and around the playground, I'm fine. But when I get into a big group where we're sort of enclosed in an area, such as staff meetings or our morning muster, I'm still wearing it there. And during roll call, where I've got to be in the building amongst all of the kids in close quarters, because you can't social distance inside the buildings. And when I'm in the classroom, like workshops, the mask is there just for the dust. The filters that I have in these masks are the same sort of active carbon filters that I had in my RZ masks. It's just the RZ masks have a filter, like a exhalation valve. They don't feel as restrictive because of the fact that the RZ mask goes all the way around your neck. So with these, it's just on the ears, and they're good for the workshop. They're good, like we're coming into flu season. We've got some staff at school who've already been off sick, or they've been off because their kids have been sick, and now they're coming into work. And it's like, I'll stay away from you and I'll try and have a mask on. I don't know if I've said this, I actually had my very first flu shot ever, a couple of weeks ago, because it was offered through work. Should protect me against the flu, but I'm not going to be laissez-faire about it and just go, whatever. And I think when I go out, doctors and shopping centres, when I'm actually getting into the grocery store, I've still worn the mask there because they're so crowded. And it's really hard to social distance inside those places. I think Australia has dealt with COVID pretty well. They're just starting to get to the vaccinations for COVID here. Like AstraZeneca is our main one here. AstraZeneca has had a high incidence of blood clots and issues with people under 50. Like still under 50. They're reserving the Pfizer vaccine for people under 50. They're not rolling it out. And they're talking about not being able to get vaccinated until like October, like after winter. It'd be nice to be able to be vaccinated now. End of period 3, I've now got a period off. Just had year 10, channeling my inner crazy scientist. I think I'm slowly getting more and more of the year 10s in and involved. There's a few more projects going. The shoe project has taken a different turn. You're going to actually build up the shoe from pieces rather than trying to carve out a solid block, because he found out that that's too small for his foot. That's like the size of his foot. He's got no room to carve anything out. Did have a few kids away today. The little jewellery box is going well. She's really intent on getting this done well. She's still got to make a lid, which she said she's going to use this timber here for. Another one, why did you forget? Just got interrupted by a student who's lost his phone. He was just sitting on that table when we were packing up, and now we don't know who's got it. I've got a feeling one of his friends is just playing a joke on him. A couple of other students who said we finally got them talked around into come on and design something of your own, and they said they'll probably the next lesson come in and make a start. Had year 11 this morning over in construction, and they're still working on their joint, finding it very difficult to meet the competence expectations of plus or minus 1 millimetre in their sizes and their joints. It's something I've got to sign off on. I spent a bit of time sort of trying to clear that space and organise it while they were working, because while they're working I can answer questions but I can't really help them. Playground duty at lunch, and I got year 12 timber after lunch. Seen a couple of the kids today, so they're still planning. Hopefully we'll get them doing their prep soon, because they're quickly running out of time. They've probably basically got about 11 weeks of school left to finish their projects. Sun's gone and the rain's kind of settled in for a couple of days, which made the construction class yesterday interesting, because you get wet trying to get out to it, and we just get trapped in the little workshop area. You can't go out into the bigger site, so I couldn't continue with the organising that I was doing on Monday. Today though, and tomorrow, I'm relieving DP, which means that you don't get to go to class. Try to keep my seniors on track with their planning work via Google Classroom. Two periods of construction for Year 12 today, and they have cluster work to get on with, which I let them know about yesterday via Google Classroom. Even if I'd been up in class, because we're up to doing form work outdoors, we couldn't have done form work outdoors because of the rain. I did see them while I was doing my walking rounds of the school, which the DPs do multiple times in the day, and they said, "Do you miss not having us, sir?" That was me today up in the office. Another head teacher will take over as relieving DP on Friday and Monday because our DP is just taking a little bit of leave. Our school likes to give multiple head teachers the opportunity to do relieving positions to develop your own professional development. We do have 2 deputies in our school, so you do get multiple opportunities to do so. I have done long stints as a deputy in the past, but they were quite a number of years ago, and when I did that, at that point I realised I didn't want to leave the workshop just yet. I didn't want to leave the classroom just yet. I think at that point I'd just started teaching construction. I'd only been a couple of years in, and I was really enjoying teaching students how to become construction people, carpenters, labourers, concreters, all of that sort of thing. And I really do enjoy teaching industrial technology. Friday, end of the week. Had Year 10 last period Friday, and that can sometimes be like a bit of a tough lesson, but I don't know whether it's the superhero shirt or what, but it was a really productive lesson. Some of the kids starting their major project, a couple that are usually quite disengaged, getting really engaged. Class packed up great. All packed up by the end of the lesson, and basically off we go. So it was a good way to end the week. For those of you not in New South Wales or Australia, we were just starting to get used to the feeling of being able to get around without masks. There's a brand new case in Sydney. Like we have very few cases. I think Australia's done really well at containing COVID or dealing with COVID. One case appeared in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, and they've got no idea how this guy got it. He just started feeling symptoms, so he went to the doctor, went and got tested. You got COVID. We've got a system here where you can use, if you enter a public premises, they have QR codes that you scan in, and that way, if you scan in, it keeps a track of where you've been, and that way they can contact trace. And this guy had been all over southwest Sydney, but they couldn't figure out why he was where he'd got COVID, because he wasn't a return traveller, wasn't in quarantine, wasn't working in the airports, the hotels, or anything. We didn't go into a snap lockdown, but restrictions came in straight away. Public transport right across Greater Western Sydney, Blue Mountains, down south, up to the Central Coast. Masks required on public transport, masks required indoor venues, shopping centres, that sort of stuff. Not required in workplaces. Schools didn't get the restrictions on there, but they said to staff, make sure you can social distance, you can wear a mask. They're not mandated that you can wear a mask if you feel you need to when you're, and even though you're working around the same people, because even though we're in Western Sydney and this guy was in Eastern Sydney, they said he had 20 close contacts, 100 casual contacts, obviously through work, and his wife ended up testing positive. I've got workmates who could live down that way, or whose family members could work around that. People aren't panicking, but it's just this whole thing of, you almost felt like we're getting on top of things. New Zealand closed the airport thing. They said no, nobody from New South Wales, and we'd only just opened up as a travel bubble. Still waiting to find out about when I'm eligible for vaccinations. My wife said under 50 should be eligible from Monday, but I don't know where I can go to get it. I was really hoping that it was going to get to the stage where I didn't have to talk about COVID, didn't have to worry about COVID.